Hi, Doug.
All right, microphones are live. Microphones are live.
Hey, Doug. Keep her clean. How are y'all?
Too big a battery in that phone. Keeps Doug, how much longer did that meeting go?
Oh, probably 20.
Oh, another 20. So what, 3:20, 3:30 it ended?
How's Owen feeling? Brandon, how's Owen feeling?
It's crazy that it's pretty much back to normal.
All right, at 6 o'clock, we'll call meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank everyone for coming tonight. We'll go ahead and do roll call. Doug? Michelle? Here. Roger?
Here.
Megan? Here. Sarah? Here. Motion to approve the agenda as presented or amended? Second. Okay. Motion and second to approve the agenda as presented. And go to vote. Doug?
Yes.
Michelle? Yes. Roger?
Yes.
Megan? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
All right, on the consent agenda.
You make motion to approve?
Second. Motion and second. Any other questions? Now we'll go to vote. Michelle? Yes. Roger?
Yes.
Megan? Yes. Sarah?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
All right. updates and presentations with the city administrator.
Great, thank you. First thing to talk about is the pool. Been going back and forth with the pool committee and trying to figure out a closing date for the pool. Much like last year, the date is kind of a moving target. Some of the ideas that have been floated is all the way to Labor Day, on the weekends, others were earlier in the month. So I think the best bet is to just look at the stats, and when that attendance drops off precipitously like it did last year, then we just give it a week and call it a day. Because the attendance has been pretty strong. The Free Fridays have really been successful, so I don't feel super comfortable just setting a hard date. If everybody's okay with it, we'll just call it quits when the time seems right. The next is the sewer project. We met with the CIT Sewer Solutions, and Eric, you can elaborate on this if you want, but basically we're waiting for the ground to dry to do the smoke testing, to test the rest of the system, and then they're still calculating how much of the problems are on the public side versus the private side. And I've been communicating with the state about rolling our investigative loan into a much larger loan that could get structured over multiple years that would do the fixes. So the preferred structure seems to be that the city foots the entire bill and then either leans back to the private property the amounts or gives them a payback period over several years. But we're not even close to knowing what that balance is yet. So when we do know that, there will be a full report, property address, amount, the whole deal. I just wanted to give you an update that that's happening. We just don't have a lot of hard facts yet. Then the third is the nuisance property update. So we continue to close cases. I don't know, do you have any update? Do you want to talk on the nuisance properties at all, or do you have anything to add?
Not really. We've just been there's been a lot of them that it took them a little bit longer, but as long as we're seeing progress, we've just been staying in contact with people. I know there's quite a few, or not quite a few, there's a handful, I would say, that live out of the area, a couple that live out of state. So I did see a couple of them were in town this week that were taking care of them, one actually from all the way from Texas. So, we've just been we've been putting deadlines on them, but we've just been in contact with them. As long as they're showing progress and working on things, that's what we want. So.
And we've had a lot of progress. There are a couple of cases that are claiming First Amendment, art in their backyard with a piece of junk, whatever. We're kind of being lenient if that's the only thing that's out there, and other things were cleaned up because we don't have a lot of recourse on a fender or something that some person calls beautiful art and others call junk. So we're just taking that on a case by case. But in general, the strategy has really been successful, and I think we've closed like 30 cases or something. I didn't look today.
I closed out another 3 or 4 just this week too.
So out of 49, I believe, total properties, we've already had 30 that have cleaned up. So, and that might actually be a little higher. So that's going pretty well. Those are my only updates outside of agenda items.
Have there been any properties that were fined because of lack of progress?
No,
a
lot of them we get to the point where if it's getting to the deadline, we don't talk to them again. We serve them their second notices, the ones that weren't making any progress, and it seems like a lot of them have pretty much taken care of them. But I know I talked to Dino about I think one's got a zoning issue that's kind of a conversation.
Yeah.
One-sided mostly.
Yeah. There's a couple of issue properties, and one is really trying in good faith to do something, but it's going to require a massive amount of work to get it done. So I've been making a list of what he needs to do to be in legal compliance. This is a property with multiple vehicles scattered all over the property, and so. But they are showing good faith and movement forward, and so we're not looking to find people. We're looking to get the properties cleaned up. So, as Brandon said, as long as we're seeing forward movement and progress, we're working with them. And by the end of this month, if we see no progress, then we'll start the fine process.
What are you doing with abandoned properties?
Well, somebody owns, abandoned properties. Like somebody has a legal ownership over them, and we're trying to reach them. If you know a specific property that you want to inquire, ask me after the meeting, and I can look it up in our database and see if we've made contact with them or not.
heard a lot of good feedback, so thank you. I think we've talked about this for a lot of years, and it's not something we've ever followed through with 100%, so thank you guys for doing that.
We've blamed it on you guys a lot. When they come in to complain, we're like,
That's our job, you know.
You know, obviously the first year's always the worst.
Yeah.
But we were trying to think the last time that we actually probably addressed them, and it's been over 10 years
Yeah.
ago, since it actually, like, there was an initiative to.
Do it, yeah.
So we handed out copies of the ordinance, because it's lengthy, but, you know, like we told people, as long as we're seeing progress, you know, we're gonna work with people, but yeah, like Nina was saying too, you know, what looks to us like something that's
Yeah.
fits the code, you know, and we're like,
Yeah.
no, that's from this or this, and
Sure.
like, okay, we'll do this, give a little facelift. and
Yeah.
that's fine.
It takes a lot of time. In the past, I would bring copies of the ordinance and talk to the people, and we'd always have a few that would kind of get pushed back, they clean a little bit, and then it's like, how long does this drag on for?
Yeah.
And then it's next spring cleanup, and they have no means to do it, or sometimes they're physically like barely able to do it, they're trying to find help. But yeah, this year it's been, myself, Brandon, and John. It takes so much time to get to talk to someone. And we're all trying to get the end result at the same time, and sometimes you're there talking to someone an hour, trying to get them to agree what needs cleaned up and what doesn't. So it's all different timelines when you catch the people versus serving them, and then there's notes of what they're doing, what they're planning, so it kind of turns into this huge, long, drawn-out process. But hopefully after this year, starting next year, spring cleanup, they'll get used to this is just the way it's going to be.
Yeah,
You don't have to let it get as bad as it has been.
You guys put in a lot of work, thank you.
And I think the communication is helpful too, as long as we're having like a two-way communication, like, I think that's super helpful too, and.
Yeah, I think if we would have just sent letters out, we would have got the response that we did.
Yeah.
Because people would have known really what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We're going to see a couple of them, but not,
Yep,
you know, the 5 or 6 that control the
yep, yep. Good deal. Any other
okay,
questions?
that's it for us.
All right, we'll move on to new business. Number 13, Resolution 2670, approving TextMyGov text communication tool.
Make a motion?
Second.
All right, motion and a second.
Great, so this was, we're reconsidering this on your request from the last meeting, Mayor. This is the texting tool. Just want to give a quick recap of what this is. This is a fully opt-in system, so nobody will get spammed. Like, people will be able to sign up for alerts on any number of categories that we set up when we set up the account. So we could have like chamber updates, we could have electric grid updates, billing updates, so on and so forth. And people can check which categories they want to receive alerts on, and they can opt out at any time. So nobody will get a text who didn't ask for one. And then, you know, we'll be able to use it to communicate pretty much whatever we want via text messages. So I think it's a good tool. I talked to the company today. They're going to honor the original quote. Their prices did go up a little bit, but I asked them to honor the original quote, which they said they're happy to do. So I can answer any other questions about the system if there are.
Well, I attended a library board meeting, and they had a problem with hearing sirens sound during a warning for weather warning. They didn't hear the sound, and they didn't hear it when it was all clear. So we talked about this a little bit at that meeting, and they said that this text system might help them out in that event. Many times they get people that are just driving through town, they stop at the library, they see the storm, they hang out at the library until the storm's gone, but they don't always hear the all clear. And she's standing there wondering what she should do. So, yeah, I think in that instance it might work. Potentially, could that be part of the?
Of course.
Would you be sending
Yeah.
out texts when tornado warning goes out?
We could do weather warnings. We could do, you know, other natural disaster warnings. If there's you know, a bad accident, we could do warnings on there. So there's no limit to the number of categories that we can you know, assign, and so people can, like I said, they'll see all the categories that we determine, and it'll be a exhaustive list. Yeah, so I think it's a very inexpensive, very powerful tool, in my opinion, just because not everybody's on Facebook, and certainly nobody's looking at our website for real-time data, because, you know, it takes a day or two to get updates on the website, so.
I think it'd be helpful, you know, when we do have squirrel power outages, you know, to be able to receive a text alert, hey, power outage on this part of town.
Yeah.
So who will monitor that and who will be doing it, like on the weekends and nights? Will
So-
people still be getting updates, like after hours?
If it's like in an emergency stuff, like typically the alerts would go out during the business day. I will be monitoring it, so each category, like there may be a department head that's responsible for one category, but I will oversee every text that goes out, whether it's during business hours, after hours, or whatever. So, you know, we'll probably have the fire chief, you know, and if it's a, you know, fire emergency or weather, you know, we'll have electric, public works. Everybody will be responsible for their category, but ultimately I'll oversee every message that goes out.
And is it two-way? So if somebody messages you back, do you answer?
No, it's
Just one way.
One way.
Yeah. It's not meant for like customer service, but it's just an alerts system.
And it's a powerful tool. I mean, the school has it, and it works very well for cancellations, for changing the scheduling, for just anything that comes up when you don't, everybody's got access to their phone. About 95% of people have their phone with them all the time. Not checking Facebook usually, but to get a text and look at that and say, okay, rain out today, ball game rescheduled for tomorrow, heat day, early out. I mean, it's quicker than getting it through third party or trying to check Facebook and all that. I'm a big advocate of this. I think it's a positive tool. And again, one of our objectives was to improve transparency and communication on the city council, and this is a great way to do that. So I think we're going to push forward, use it, and I think it'll be a really good deal.
Great. And we'll keep stats on it. You know, we'll have published stats on how many people are using it, how many texts go out, you know, what the, you know, we want it to be efficacious, so we're going to track and make sure that it's a system that's being used before we invest in it every year. So, and our contract will just be year by year with them, and it's pretty inexpensive in the grand scheme of things.
Okay, any other questions? Now, we'll go to vote. Roger?
Yes.
Megan?
No.
Sarah? Yes. Doug?
Yes.
Michelle?
No.
Number 14, Resolution 2672, approving payment of $5,000 to Dorsey and Whitney LLP for mandatory bond counsel for the SRF INI sewer project.
Great. So this is a pro forma measure, so the loan that we got through the state requires us to have bond counsel, and this is the bill for it. So we have no negotiating power on this, on the amount or the details of the agreement.
Did we know this was coming down?
Yes, it was a mandatory variable of even applying for the loan. Like, we couldn't even apply for that loan without the bond help.
Okay, any other questions? Now we'll go to vote. Megan?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Doug?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Number 15, motion to discuss vacating Lot A of First Street.
Make a motion.
Great, so as you remember, last year we vacated a portion of land that was an area that an original Franklin Street would have been put in. It never did. This is a lot that is adjacent to the Natings property, nestled in between the Gold's property and the Natings property. So it's near the water tower, unusable land to put a street in. It dead ends into private property in every direction. The original survey that was drafted did not include this little square on the map that says Lot A of First Street with an arrow. It's about 2,300 square feet. And Dave Nating has been caring for that property, just kind of assuming that it was part of the deal. And but upon examination, that part of the street was never vacated. So he requested that we vacate that land so that he continues to care for it. There's some trees on it and stuff like that. Like I said, it's completely unusable to the city and has zero value. It's a very small land, so I don't have any issue with us vacating that land. And then this is just a request, so if we have a consensus here, then we will bring forward the public process for vacating that, which includes a public hearing, an intent to vacate land. It's like a three-part process. But I didn't want to start that without having the discussion, explaining what the issue was, and seeing if there was consensus.
And you said he was paying all legal fees?
He covers all legal and surveying fees, no cost to the city at all. So we don't need to vote on anything tonight, I just kind of need bobbleheads to tell me if we're good starting the process.
I think it's
All right,
fine.
very good.
All right. There are no other questions. We will move on to number 16. Motion to approve a $1,200 matching grant application from Alameda Clayton Electric Cooperative.
Second.
All right, motion and second.
Great, so this is a grant application. There's a $1,200 grant available for the Heart and Soul program. It just requires that the city do a matching grant for $1,200. And so they basically said that it's very likely that we would receive this grant. So we just need permission to apply for it. And we have budgeted money for this type of thing, so not a budgetary issue at all. But we do need permission from the grant maker to apply for the grant.
What is the grant going to be used for?
Whatever Heart and Soul.
They deem necessary.
Yes, this would be a donation to the Heart and Soul program, and it would go on their budget. So I don't know, Doug, if you've had any thoughts about what extra funds would be used for. I know it's still early in the process for you guys, but if you have any thoughts, please.
Yeah, well, we just hired a coordinator to coordinate the group, and that's going to be an expense that we're going to be adding to it. We don't know how long this process will take. It could take up to 18 months or as much as 2 years, and we'd like to try to keep the coordinator paid through the whole process to the end. And that could be, well, it could run more than what we've already got in saved up for. So we're going to continue to accept donations from whoever and wherever we can get them until we
So
finish.
your donations are going to the wages of the coordinator, is that?
That and also events that we're going to be having around the community, paying, for maybe if it includes food, or we're going to be having some activities at some different places, like a trivia night or things like that. It's all going to cost a few dollars for us to put that on, and that's what, it's the whole process. Also, just the educating everybody as the phases go by, that takes an expense too. So right now I'm calculating our total budget. Probably to the end is going to be at least $25,000 with the.
Do you guys have a project in mind that you're going after, or not yet?
We'll have, when we're finished, we should have a list of projects and prioritized for the council. And what they recommend we do is actually just hang them right here in the council, by the council table, so that whenever it comes, every year it comes up, we're talking about what we can do this year for the citizens, what we have in our budget, and look at that priority list, and that should be what the citizens want if we do our job right. So it'll make it easier for the council, it'll make it easier, I think, for the administration here at Strawberry Point when we're finished. That's what our hopes are.
Good.
Any other questions? Not, we'll go to vote. Sarah?
Yes.
Doug?
I'm going to abstain.
Michelle?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Megan? Yes. Thank you. Number 17, Resolution 2673, approving the electric purchase rate nominations for fiscal year 2027.
I make the motion.
Is it in there twice?
Yeah.
It's twice in mine too.
Yes.
It's interesting, yeah, I don't know.
One of them's not complete, though.
All right, motion and second.
All right. So every year, because we're an electric utility, we buy electricity and we sell electricity. And when we buy the electricity, we have an option to buy the market rate electricity or a fixed rate electricity. And if you read the memo, all the math is in there to where I came to the recommendation. And so, every year we want to have some balance between the market rate, which is typically always lower than the fixed rate. And we get a little discount on the market rate, and right now it's about $6 less, which is significant. That's over 10% of the fixed rate. So we want to take advantage of the lower price of the market rate, but we also want to protect ourselves if that market rate shoots up over the fixed rate. The issue right now is that the fixed rate is only estimated, and it hasn't been published, and it won't be published until everybody chooses their rate nomination, which I find annoying. But at the same time, there's enough of a discount on the market rate, and I've created sort of a mathematical formula on the memo, and you'll see where we kind of came to it. So I think that with the outlook they're expecting record production this year. The Middle East is obviously going on. It doesn't have that big of an impact on this. But it is something to think about, and so I think that the 70-30 balance that I suggested, 70% market rate, 30% fixed rate, the rate would have to go up like $10 for it to actually hurt us with this balance. So I think there's significant protection in there with only 30% at the fixed rate. And I know that, like, before I came on board, we were with the market rate, I think, and, we got bit on that a little bit 1 or 2 years. And so we watched this very closely. And I also talked to them. They didn't think that this was they can't tell us what to do, but they thought that our nomination of 70-30, if this is what we go with, is a pretty safe bet.
I think we were, 75-25 last year?
Yeah.
Mhm. Any questions?
This was supposed to be negotiated by August 1st, and...
Yeah, they're aware. So we were waiting to see if they were going to publish the fixed rate, and but yeah, I've been in communication with them, told them that we're nominating tonight. They're totally fine with that. Last year was the same. We were a week after the nomination period, but again, waiting for a published rate, because I find it hard to really put a stamp of approval on a nomination if we don't really know what the fixed rate is. If they were to publish the fixed rate and it's $3 less than what they say it is, that changes the scene. I would probably go with a much higher percentage on the fixed rate, just because it's safer. So, but with the gap the way it is, that's kind of my feeling. So we're waiting till the last minute to see if they would publish it, and they haven't.
The behind the meter resources, is that what we generate on the bottom of that?
Let me look at the memo.
Or is that like what would be generated through solar panels or?
He's looking on Dairyland.
Yeah.
On there.
On
There.
Dairyland's proposal. Which page were you looking at?
The first one.
First page.
All right.
Bottom paragraph, or second to bottom paragraph.
Yeah, and what was your question about it?
So it's the nomination percentage shall be allocated to the total feeder load less cities behind the meter resources. So does that mean what we generate, or?
No, I don't think that's what we generate per se. Let me read it and just make sure that I understand it. It's been a couple of months since I read this. This may allude to some electricity that we use that isn't billed. I can get a clarification on this, but I don't know. I don't want to tell you exactly what it means without knowing, but I think that this is the nomination percentages on electricity that we're buying for resale, not necessarily using for ourselves. But let me double check on that and get back to you with an exact answer.
Yeah, I'm just curious, too, trying to figure that out. I can't.
Yeah, I'll find out exactly what that means.
Okay, any other questions? If not, we'll go to vote. Doug?
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Megan?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, number 18, resolution 2674, approving the purchase of dual band pager and related equipment for the Shrubbery Point Ambulance Department.
Make motion.
Okay, motion and second.
Great. Tony, do you want to explain why we need these?
So, when our previous service director was starting to handle the equipment conversion with the radio project, neither him or our 911 board representative informed county that we in fact have never carried pagers in the past. Our new radios, it is you get every single page within the county or you get nothing at all. They only gave us 4 pagers, which has put a huge constraint on my crews being able to respond in a timely manner if we get the page at all. To put things into perspective for you guys, about 6 weeks ago, there was a code north of town that nobody, including Levi, who was on duty, myself, who had a pager and a radio and a phone on, none of us got that call. I went round and round. We didn't know if it was a Raycom issue with the tower project going on. We didn't know if it was a T-Mobile US Cellular issue with the carryover there. But either which way, it's a less than $5,000 expense to make sure that all of our drivers and providers have a means of receiving tone. It's that simple. So we can't live without it. If you guys deny it, there's going to be calls back in this because unfortunately not all my crew members have pagers.
Is this just enough to have, so everybody has
That would
one,
be-
that's no backup?
That would not be any backups. However, I am working on 2 very large grant opportunities that, as long as it is not for our current 911 setup, we can utilize those. One of the projects that we're looking at, a community paramedic and health and substance abuse interventionist. So if we need additional equipment, I can put those in under those programs. So, but the pagers are expensive. They're about $800 with a charger. This is non-negotiable. Raycom is the one who won the contract through the county. We're just picking up the crap.
Yeah, and we've seen these communication issues firsthand, where we've had calls come in that don't get communicated, but I think you got a page once that didn't come over the radio. So these are serious issues. You know, some of these people are in bad shape. So
I've already taken the liberty of fixing part of that, which was to get a VHF antenna that will be mounted above the PD belly port. That should allow everybody within this entire building to get pages on a pager. If that doesn't work, I went with what we needed first, right? We need to be able to get this home. I can run to my truck and open up the door, which would power up my radio and be able to get a signal out. So down the road, we may have to purchase the other antenna for our radio to work properly within the building. But I figure we start with the pager and work our way if we have to.
So you guys don't get paged to your cell phone?
When I'm refunding work, yes.
It is delayed sometimes.
I have multiple people here that can
I don't carry a pager and I live station.
I have been on bridge calls with T-Mobile. I've been on bridge calls with Rapid SOS. I have personally been out field testing our equipment with our 911 coordinator. This is something that I wanted to pull the trigger on 3 months ago, but was asked to pump the brakes and let everything in the system kind of clear out before we move forward. We're still having the issues. We still have people not getting pages. We have to act.
Yeah, even like the big switch from US Cellular to T-Mobile caused
It's
huge
a nightmare.
getting pages to our
So
phone.
these are like actual pagers, you won't be able to respond, it's just
Correct.
to hear.
Correct.
The little, like
This
the
will
little
be
ones.
just like pagers.
Yep.
So they'll have playback, they'll be able to hear everything, it comes with a charger. We would get them all wrapped under our insurance policy through the city. Additionally, I do make all my crew members sign a liability contract that says that I can hold them up to the cost not saying we would ever hold them to it, but we have protection there in case. All of our, equipment now is all also, put on a spreadsheet, that's in our network share drive, so we know which equipment is assigned to which provider.
Cool. Any other questions?
What's the turnaround, do you think?
To get Peterson and to get them completely outfitted by Raycom, we're probably looking at 4 to 6 weeks. The antenna is 3 months. So we may have part of the issue resolved by the end of the year.
Okay.
But.
All right. We'll go vote. Michelle?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Megan? Yes. Sarah? Doug?
Yes.
Other business?
No other business here?
Just one thing, how many on the council have visited our generation plant where we generate electricity?
When they're generating electricity?
When they're generating it?
Not when, but I've been out there.
I just want to encourage, I spent about an hour and a half last night going through a full generation process. Very interesting, and you can understand when we talked about the electricity buying and selling and all that stuff. When you see the process actually go through, you can see what a luxury it is to have a place where we can generate our own electricity if we have an emergency, and quite interesting. I think if you haven't done that, you need to do that and go through the whole process. Alan is more than willing to take anybody through that so they can understand. He actually encouraged, so when we have things that come up on the council, especially electrical, we understand the process and what happens when he has to start up the generators and how he switches them from online and the process that goes through. That's very interesting on how that happens. So if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do that. It's worth it. And Alan's very good with the information, and he's a very good teacher and a very good explainer, and just take advantage of it.
Were you there when the engines turned on?
Yeah.
So loud.
It's incredible. Yeah, very scary.
So he's going to be hard to replace. When he's going to pull the plug, he's going to be hard to replace. He's got a wealth of knowledge, and you can take advantage of that while he's still around.
I like the electrical euphemism you used. I don't know if that was on purpose.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right.